Greetings everyone, Darth Oblivious back with you for another special episode of Wretched Hive Recap. Actually, a couple of things on the forums snagged my attention this week, so we're throwing in a quick little supplemental episode, of course, before we get to next week's discussion of the producer live stream. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, let's take a look, shall we? First things first. So, what's the point of the family tree? Regarding new character promo mail, can we get Nico Okar at Cole? You have 6 days of subscription playtime remaining. I'm sorry, everyone. The White Knights further fall from grace. And finally, news about the Eternal Championship, which prompted me actually to discuss everything this week instead of waiting until the producer live stream to throw this stuff in. So, first things first here. So what's the point? A couple of quality of life interesting things here. So what's the point of the family tree? Nothing Shines asks us. You know what would be fun if they made how you set up the family tree trigger periodic key chapter specific emails you get. Kind of like a pseudo Twitter barrage where your enemies troll your choices and your friends and family send you positive vibes. No voice acting needed. I mean, do something with it. It's taking up space. Feels like an open wound that never heals. Use it for something or remove it. Well, I guess having your in-game mail account spammed would appeal to some people. Would not appeal to me because this little thing here. Is part of the reason, but we'll get to that. Let's see, what else do people say? Then you'll have plenty of people complaining about the content the layer doesn't fit the personalities of the characters who sent them. Yeah, that's true. Oh, Lover No Fighter, this game is awesome. Yes, indeed. And why I think it's a little thing to play, why devote time and effort to removing something you can just ignore? Because somebody just, hey, it just sits there, why not remove it? There we go, Flying Spew. This is the tool 1.2.0, not as clumsy or random as a spreadsheet, an elegant tool for a more civilized age. Actually, it's not. Anyway, so what about this family tree legacy? This was the whole crux of patch 1.2 2 or 3 years ago, however long it's been now. This was the hype. This was the thing. Legacy, your family tree, everything coming into here. The reasons why, it was all about story, this and that. I'm all crooked here. A more in-depth RPing type role-playing experience. And what do we get? A family tree that ain't worth garbage. I wish I had the game up, but that's another story. To actually show, but everybody knows what this family tree is. You go in the legacy, you play with the family tree. You can't. It's another one of those things that at the time sounded like a good idea, and then was just implemented like complete crap. I mean, it's a very limiting family tree to begin with, in that you only have specific places where you can place all the characters on your account, or actually on the server, because it's still server specific and not account specific, which if it was account specific, it might actually even have a little bit more usefulness. But there would be some limitations, with that if you have the same name character and same character on different servers, such as I have. I have a couple different servers, but they're basically identical characters I play. They're just a part of a different legacy because, for some reason, legacy isn't account-wide, it's only server-wide. That'd be another good quality of life change, making legacy completely account-wide. instead of just server-wide. Although character transfers and stuff like that sort of alleviate that problem a little bit. Of course, if you're willing to pay for additional character transfers outside of the free one you get for the refer a friend referral bonus, etc., etc. But yeah, because I basically opened this once after 1.2 went live, played around with it, and said, yeah, this is crap. It sucks. It's useless. I mean, it's good for an RPing aspect, but other people can't even see that. A lot of games, when they add these little RP type things into their game and into your character sheet and stuff like that, you know, it's so actually other people can actually take a look at it. Like, say, if I go to Neverwinter Online, there's stuff in there that I can do purely for RP purposes, purely for character background development. And other people can actually look at that and see what I've written. Star Trek Online, the same thing. Yeah, there's some stuff you can put in there that people can actually pull up on the sheet and look at, you know, the background of your character. This here, absolutely nothing. Nothing in that regard. The family tree, you're limited to who you can relate to who and how people interact. You can't have friends and relatives and friends and stuff like that. Everybody's basically a family member all tied together. So, again, a system that was just, even back then when they actually had a team and time and development for this stuff, it was just poorly implemented, essentially. Poorly thought out in the end process and poorly rolled out. Again, it's a good idea on paper, but it's just simply bad execution is what it boils down to. So our next quality of life thing regarding character promo email, or do we want to get Nico? Let's do this because this is actually a quick one. Can we get Nico Okar at all? Here we go. We ask the usual things in the forums that crop up any and every time there happens to be something exclusive added to the game. You know, first it was Rise of the Hutt Cartel with the pre-order exclusives. Oh my God, the whining and raging after that went live and people said, hey, I want all this free stuff that you were giving away 2 months ago, and gave plenty of advance notice and warning and information on how to get this stuff, but I still didn't do it, but now I still want it. Complete friggin' idiocy. And again, just pure examples of why the gaming community gets no respect, even from within itself. Can we get Nico Okar at all? No. Unless you followed the very specific and informational laid out instructions on how you were going to unlock Nico Okar, no, you cannot get him, nor should you. Now, I'm all one for access to everything, that everybody be able to access for everything, but at some point you gotta realize, you know what, this is not rocket science here. Not very difficult to follow the instructions that Bioware lays out for all these exclusive things and get them with no problem at all. But no, we've got people, oh, I want Nico Okar, I'm missing out on content. Here, that feels like so much wasted story. There is no story potential. I mean, it's a completely useless companion skin, essentially. Especially now with 4.0 changes to companions make basically owning more than one companion completely useless. You can only have one companion out. So it's not like you can form a full raid group with all your companions. So basically, it's pointless. Absolutely pointless for this. You said desperate to hold on something that somebody else doesn't have. No, not really. It's no point. At some point, you've got to realize that, you know, there's certain things that Bioware has to do in order to maintain profitability. Now, of course, this shiny stuff and all this HK stuff that they're giving away now, is garbage as it may be. Some people are willing to follow the instructions and subscribe and all that to get these nice shiny things. I quite frankly don't care either way. And I won't bother me in the slightest if at some point down the line Bioware releases all this stuff for free, not even on the cartel market. Just what the heck, we'll just give it to everybody. At this point, it's been long enough, sort of like, they gave away Rise of the Hutt Cartel expansion. What is it, 6, 7, 8 months, whatever it was, after it was initially released. Hey, here, have it for free now. Okay. I mean, but still, at some point you gotta realize, you know what, they need to do this in order to, make the financial statements look good. And as much as I'm one who says, hey, just let everybody have everything, let's, keep it simple, that kind of stuff, it's all enjoyable, and it's no really big deal in the end. Exclusivity, EP, who needs any of that? It's just complete ridiculousness. I'm fine if this stays exclusive too. I mean, seriously, it's not like you have to jump through hoops to get some of this stuff. I think that's probably the key point, the key difference for me there. It's I'd like to have everybody get everything, but at some point, this stuff isn't all that hard to get. I mean, even if you're a semi-casual player, there's no way you cannot stumble across this stuff blindly and accidentally and not be able to follow the qualifications in order to get it. I mean, they've made the whole game brain dumb simple. I mean, all this exclusive stuff is just the same way. I mean, extremely simple to get it. No need to change it at this point to make everybody be able to get it. I mean, if you couldn't get it before, my God, really, seriously. But whatever. Now, you cannot get Nico Okar at all, nor should you. Now, of course, if they want to spend CCs to do it, well, you know what? At this point, I'd rather they not, because you know what? It just feeds into Cosmic Cat's famous line before she left the game a year or two ago now, probably at this point. It's like something about beware of cartel, the rise of the cartel menace, the cartel shop menace, something to that effect. And basically that was the conversation revolving around, the $20 single-use die packs, which yes is just as bad as the $9 horse armor was back in the day. But anyway, that's that. Yes, leave it exclusive. That was the entire point of it. That was the entire point of them trying to increase the bottom line, to increase, the good feel of the fiscal report via EA. I mean, at some point, in 2 or 3 years, sure, go ahead, release it, give everything away for free. But for now, yeah, no. If you couldn't follow the simple instructions, then you lose out. I'm sorry. It's an MMO. That's just the way it goes in them sometimes, Perhaps if this game actually does end up with the longevity of the last 10 years, they can just do what the original Guild Wars did, and for their holiday events and their specific limited time holiday items, let's just give tokens every year, and you can pick the ones you happened to miss in years past. So, it took them 7 years to do it. It's fine. People who wanted the exclusivity had that for the period of time, and now it doesn't really matter. Same thing here. Let's keep it exclusive for a few years. Don't really matter, because it's basically just a skin. You're not missing out on any story content. Everybody gets the same little story path to Nico. It's just that, people who qualified to unlock him will actually unlock him as a companion skin after they complete the little quest thing, or just use the token to unlock him at level 1. But other than that, there's absolutely nothing you're missing. Absolutely nothing. There is no story involved with it, so it's really pointless to do anything with it. I mean, really, at this point in time, it's really even pointless to have had him at all as a companion, because, like I said, companions are useless. You only need one. You might as well just stick with your first, the first companion you get off the Star World, and that's it. That's all you need. essentially at this point, the way they changed all that freaking nonsense. Anyway, regarding new character promo mail, I'm in no way, CK North says, complaining, but rather getting concerned. I will soon have more mail than a fully unlocked inventory. I do get now per new character 40 mails upon creation. It's not really a huge deal to travel to my stronghold and unload everything, but my request is possible for the stuff that can be in collections. That's the key point here. Anyway. That's the key point here. Yes, indeed. And depending on some people are actually getting 50 or 60 of these mails, and basically what this is all the exclusive things we're talking about. You know, if you were a founder, you get certain things. If you bought the digital upgrade edition, if you bought the collector's edition, the Cantina code things, the cartel coin cards that you get from Amazon or the retail stores and stuff like that, each have a specific pet or something attached to it for buying them. You know, you get all this stuff. As soon as you create a new character and you hit the Star World, you're getting 50 or 60 emails. I mean, and CK North here is quite correct. I mean, at that point, you've got all these mails. You actually literally do not have the storage space to store all this stuff. You got to leave it in your mails, and at least till you get to your ship and you can unlock your cargo hold or your stronghold at that point. You know, but yeah, it's quite ridiculous. And this is actually more encompassing. What brought me to this one is not the amount of mails in and of itself, but the fact that this stuff should be unlocked in Legacy by now. I mean, and some of this stuff is, like the CE stuff, if I recall, I remember seeing it in the Legacy or the collections. I should say the collections and stuff like that. So it's in there. You simply don't have to unlock it per character, but it would be nice to just eliminate all these emails now and just have this stuff automatically unlock in the collections thing. That way, if you want it for a character, you just go collections and tell it to spawn right from collections for the character, like you do anything else now once you unlock it. I mean, at this point, that would be simpler. Just eliminate the mail entirely and just have these codes just unlock something in collections. Which brings me to the point is that there's a heck of a lot of stuff more stuff that should be unlocked in collections. I mean, personally speaking, I mean, there shouldn't be anything in this game of significance. I mean, there's a speeder that used to drop out in the world. I think I got one on my Jedi Knight while playing in Taurus. It's sort of like one of the STAP speeders or something like that. And it sort of bummed me out that I couldn't, you know, add this to collections and unlock it for all my characters. I mean, stuff like that you should just be able to add to collections and, of course, charge the cartel coins for it to unlock it. So, I would say at this point there should be, within reason, because you can't actually add every piece of equipment, but things like the Esseles gear, the Black Talon gear, which have been removed from the game, add that to collections. As the phone rings. Alright, now that little bit of business is out of the way, where was I? Oh, yes. Collections. Yeah, this is another thing that's a good idea and actually fairly decently implemented, but, you know, still, there's a lot more stuff that we should just be able to add what we want to collections. I mean, even if they don't add every item in the game by default, it shouldn't be that much of a problem to be able to have players themselves just add specific things that they want. It's like, hey, I like this. I'd like this for all my characters. Add it to collections. Let's unlock it. I think that ultimately would be a fairly good idea that hopefully wouldn't put too much stress on the back end, but then again, with the engine and the database and of course the 25 quest limit and all that stuff, who knows? But again, they've been able to work around the stronghold limit at this point, so perhaps this is something for them to look into, about being able to add, hey, I like this cool little piece of equipment or whatever, I'd like to be able to use it on my other characters, that, you know, something I found in the world, I use, instead of having to rely on RNG, and hey, you make a few cartel coin payments and you can unlock it for everybody. Works for me. I think that's a good idea. But yeah, definitely with this character email, all this stuff should just eliminate the mails altogether. Just have it unlocked in the collections and have us choose what we get for each of our characters. I mean, there's a brilliant idea. Up next, do we want to do this one or do we want to do this one? We'll save the Fall from Grace for later. Anyway, 6 days of subscription play time remaining, which means he is pretty much done at this point. And Kidu98, one of our very good forum posters here, as I've said in past episodes, you know, the good people are dropping like flies. Although I've noticed that Andrea has returned once again, shockingly enough. But anyway, well, my final week has arrived. I've not been the most pivotal member of this community, but you have been one of the most rational and one of the ones that tend to be more contributive instead of detrimental to the game. So EN8s will definitely be missed here. But anyway, he's just going through, you know, his reasonings, which, you know, his reasonings are the same for a lot of people right now, and why they are quitting the game, or at least stopping their sub. And no, it's not the third or fourth gigantic post I view, but this is one of the systemic problems that we got here. And of course, there's Brand chiming in, and once again being way off base. I mean, it's one thing to make a goodbye post like some certain posters regularly do, and they never seem to go away. But again, this is actually a goodbye post surrounded in and blanketed in very good constructive criticism and reasonings. These are the kind of posts that we kind of need to let Bioware know, hey, yo, these are the design choices that are causing people to leave the game. And of course, the exit interview thing doesn't nearly leave enough space in order to describe this stuff in the detail that is needed. So it's just, you know, it's just something like this is sad to see, that we've got a good member of the community leaving because some of these piss poor design choices that we've been talking about. Again, just a systemic problem that really needs to be solved, and Bioware again needs to understand the reasoning behind some of these metrics. In fact, I saw something the other day in the forums. I forget what it is now. I should have saved it. I think I saved it on another device. I meant to do it here, but anyway, it's one of those things about the metrics. Let's just say, for instance, if we're taking metrics and the thing, it's about something that wasn't developed, but let's just say, hey, Galactic Starfarer has received no love, no updates whatsoever. Well, why is that? Well, let's just say Bioware says, you know, the metrics say nobody is playing this piece of content, so we're not going to put any development time to it. So that's how Bioware looks at the metrics. Let's just say, hey, nobody's playing this particular quest, we'll just not update it. Well, why is nobody playing this particular quest? Is it probably because nobody's updated? You know, why is nobody playing Galactic Starfighter? You know, for instance, hyperbolic speaking for you people who actually do play Galactic Starfighter, but we could even do the PvE space game. Why, you know, I enjoy the PvE space game. I enjoyed it even after they nerfed it to make it very expensive to rerun it, even though you enjoy rerunning it to the point to where, you know what, it's not worth me wasting all these credits to rerun it, even though I enjoy the content. So Bioware looks at their metrics, say, hey, nobody's playing PvE space. So they read the metrics, nobody's interested in PvE space, nobody likes PvE space. So no need to work on improving PvE space. I'll let that sink in for a minute. So, the metrics say nobody's playing it, so you're not going to develop it. You're not going to work on it. You're not going to improve it. Never mind that you haven't worked on it or improved it since the heroic space missions came out in years and years. And then, of course, you nerfed it to make rerunning it more expensive than it necessarily needs to be. Tell me again why nobody's playing it? Perhaps if you actually developed it, improved it, worked on it, people would actually play it. But that's how Bioware looks at the metrics. Nobody's playing it, no need to put any effort into it because our metrics say gamers aren't interested in it. They don't look beyond that. They don't look beyond what the raw numbers say. What is the reasoning nobody's playing PvE space? Well, it's because it needs to be improved. You improve it, people might actually play it. But, again, nobody's perfect, I guess you could say. Humans make mistakes. Thing is, you got to learn from your mistakes and make course corrections in order to not make those mistakes again and fix the mistakes you made in the past. Anyway, yes. I'm sorry, everyone. Sarfax here, apologizing. I'm sorry for the way I acted earlier. I just dislike very much when people antagonize and do that table-turning stuff to make it look like the other person and just needed to vent about it. I guess it means I just need to vent it. I don't mean to come across as mean. I love this game very much. No kidding. I think that's come across quite clear. And like you all, I am a positive, optimistic person. No, not like us all. There's a point to being optimistic, and there's a point to being just plain stupid, essentially. I will show that even further by not quoting people who are too negative anymore. Just like I have the right to be positive about the game, somebody has the right to be negative. I just need to see something in my own way, and I did. I'm sorry for my behavior, and don't hold it against me. Now, this apparently was prompted by a post that Sarfax put in, and he basically went ballistic on the community. It's apparently what happened because I missed the post, unfortunately. It was only up for a short time. So, all things being considered, even if I did see the post, I probably wouldn't have thought to have saved it somehow in order to discuss it later. I would just bookmarked it, not realizing it probably would have been deleted as it thus has. But then, of course, we get all the various responses, etc., etc., etc. So, essentially, basically, he had a meltdown, and this lame attempt at an apology. This actually is an off-topic discussion too, in case, because I initially looked for this particular post on this device when I saw it on another device and couldn't find it, and that's why I wasn't looking at off-topic, but I looked in off-topic. But it's thusly been closed. But yes, the White Knight has fallen from grace and perhaps shown his true colors somehow in the other post, where he basically went on rants and apparently attacked other posters for, posting their feelings, which he feels he was entitled to do as much as anybody else. And, he here, like many people in the community, feel that they are quite entitled to post their feelings of the game, but nobody else is, and they will attack other people for posting their feelings. So, it's the old catch-22 there, darned if you do, darned if you don't. But regardless, what really I want to point out here, there's a point to being optimistic. There's a point to saying, hey, you know what? And his previous post that we discussed in the previous episode here was actually very well thought out, very well laid out, although I think, again, he glossed over some glaring issues with the game. But that's really the point here. You can be positive, you can be optimistic, but you also have to be realistic. You have to look at the bigger picture, which I think a lot of people, both positive and negative, don't really see. It's sure, say, you can say, hey, I love level sync. It's a great idea, this and that. Yes, level sync, down leveling, the mentoring systems, they are excellent ideas. They are very much needed in every single MMO that has been and will ever be released. I mean, this is a pure quality. I mean, I don't believe in having a handbook on how each and every MMO should be designed, but there are core elements that at this point really are necessary for a good quality of life and replayability and playability in an MMO with group content. Down leveling, that kind of stuff, is one of them, but it needs to be implemented correctly. And that's something that even now Starfox doesn't seem to grasp the concept, because he just simply loves it. It's a great idea. It's great. It's perfect. No, it is not. It's far from perfect. It's a horrible implementation in this game. It's great in other games where it is implemented with some thought, clarity, optionality, if that's a word, and this kind of stuff. Here, it's complete garbage how it's implemented. It doesn't prevent ganking in PvP. I mean, it doesn't make content any more challenging than it was before. It does not make content challenging. It does not solve any one of the problems that before it was implemented, and all the discussions we had on the forums, does not solve any one of those problems. The only thing it does do is make world bosses group content again. But again, as we've mentioned before, it doesn't make them relevant. Having rewards or different quests make world bosses relevant. If there's no reason to go out and fight a world boss, if for an achievement or anything like that, if there's no reason, it's not relevant. Doesn't matter whether it's level synced or not. It's not relevant. Just making it level synced does not make it relevant. It's the reason for going there. And now, if you're just going there because you enjoy it, like I do, Sleaze and Black Talon, before, of course, the 4.0 changes, yeah, it's completely relevant for you. But in the grand scheme of things, level sync in and of itself makes absolutely nothing relevant. So that's the point here. Yeah, level sync is great, but it's a completely terrible implementation here in this game. So no, it's not great. You may love it and love a couple of things it does for you, but look at the bigger picture. I mean, this is a piss poor implementation. It needs to be changed. Simple fact of the matter. If this game wants to have longevity, if it wants to keep the maximum amount of people playing and enjoying the game, it needs to change. And that's the point that some of these people, again, both positive and negative people, miss out. There's the thing about being negative, as long as you're like Ediku was, as long as you're constructive with it. And there's the thing about being positive, as long as you're not being stupid about the stuff that obviously is not implemented in the best way possible. And that's the thing. So yeah, praise down leveling, but praise it when it's implemented correctly, and it needs to be criticized when it's not implemented correctly, like it is here. So that's all we're going to say on that matter. Finally, stop. What have we here? The Eternal Championship. So, yesterday, being March 4th, of course, by the time I'm recording this, I might actually upload this episode earlier than Monday, just to keep things relevant. But anyway, regardless of whenever I end up getting this to YouTube, Monday at the latest, Eric has come on here and said, hey folks, we've been doing a lot of internal playtesting on the Eternal Championship. It is currently not at the level that we believe our players deserve. In keeping with our commitment to offer the highest quality experience possible with our latest expansion, we've decided to delay the launch of the Eternal Championship. We are focusing on overall balance, ensuring each boss fight is challenging, endeavoring to exceed quality expectations, and most of all, making sure it is a fun experience. Please note Bodar will also be delayed, but will continue to launch alongside the Eternal Championship to help ensure we deliver on deeper experience we promised. We have decided to make the Eternal Championship available on our public test server prior to releasing it. What? We have decided to make the Eternal Championship available on our public test server prior to releasing it. Are you going to make this video? Not one. Yeah, not one mention of spoilers? What? They're actually going to test content? Holy Hanna-Barbera, Batman! Has BioWare finally learned a valuable lesson? I cannot believe it! I simply cannot believe it! Yes! Yes! Unbelievable! In more ways than one. Yes, once again, we've got a delay in content, but at least it's good reason. And my God, they're actually going to make a good faith effort to release this content in the best possible state it can be. Holy garbage. Now, never mind the fact, of course, that we've already seen previews of the Eternal Championship on one of the producer live streams, and everybody was singing its praises back then. And now, all of a sudden, it's not ready. Let's see, Chapter 10 was delayed by a month, and it was horribly a disastrous release. Now, Eternal Championship is delayed for God knows how long. I mean, they're just going to have, right here, I would provide more information. Our goal is to have more information in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Let's not have the content in 4 to 6 weeks, more information in 4 to 6 weeks. So, this is a big delay here. For something that was already hyped up and shown on the producer's live stream, and everything seemed to be all fine and dandy. Hey, we're there. When the hell were they testing this stuff internally then? This was, I don't even think this was the last producer's live stream, which was, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So this was almost a month ago we saw this thing. And now it's delayed for probably at this point at least 2 months, because it's got to be on the PTS for at least 2 weeks. At least minimum 1 week, preferably 2 weeks. We're going to have information within 4 to 6 weeks, so we're looking at possibly 2.5 months before we see this thing released live. If at the end of testing it's still actually in a decent state, or gets to a decent state to where it can be released live. Again, I think I brought this up an episode or 2 ago when I was talking about the delay for Chapter 10. That does not bode well. Does not bode well for their content cadence. Remember content cadence? What was this, 3 years ago now? Content every 6 weeks. Oh, wait. Strike that. Content every 8 weeks. Oh, no, wait. Holiday. Content every 9, 10 weeks. Never mind. Yeah, so, and I think somebody brings it up here. Let's take a look. Disappointing. And again, the comments here are fairly positive and well thought out. Yeah, it's disappointing that it's delayed, but thank God they're doing it for the reasons they are, and thank God they're actually going to make a good faith effort by throwing this on the PTS to test it. But there are a couple of comments to point out here. So, and Blitzwing here. So, how do I go about getting a refund for this month? It was a major reason I subbed for this month. And there you have it. There's one of the reasons right there. This stuff was hyped up for this upcoming month, stuff like this. And all of a sudden, ooh, yeah. At what point did BioWare realize, this isn't really ready? They should have realized this a little bit sooner, and not, practically speaking, at the last minute before all this stuff is supposed to be released for the new chapter. So yeah, I think that definitely I have a problem with. Sure, yeah, I don't have delay it as long as necessary to make sure it gets released in a good playable state. But by God, if it took you this long to realize it's not ready for release, then BioWare had better take a good, hard, long look at their internal structure and how this stuff is tested internally and all this stuff. Because, my God, those comments that we talked about last episode, that I think Killjoy had mentioned about giving the appearance of basically having no idea what the hell they're doing in the studio. Here's another one. You know, this is prime example. I mean, sure, again, kudos. Thank God they're delaying it, and thank God they're actually going to test it properly with an open test. But still, you didn't realize it? No, yeah, it's not really up to par right now. I mean, at this point, did they think another 3 days was going to make the difference? I mean, really? So yeah, that's I don't want to say shady, but that's wow. I mean, at some point you gotta say, you know what? Weeks out, it's like, yeah, you know, not too, you know, again, you know, at least a week, at least 2 weeks, saying, you know what? Yeah, we might not make it. I think we better put that out there, saying, hey, we're running into some problems with the Eternal Championship. We don't know if it's going to be delayed or not. We're trying to get it all on time, but we're telling you right now, there's a good chance it might be delayed because it's just not quite up to par. So don't spend your $15 this month if you're simply subbing just for the Eternal Championship, because we don't know if we're going to have it ready yet. More information in a week. Again, communication to avoid these problems. But let's see what we've got here. Not surprised by the direction Dean Khan as the subscriber who's helped support the young game. There was something here. I think it was this page here. I wanted to. Thanks for the info. People spend money for a full patch, now they get a full patch. Yeah, again, the same thing. No, it's not cheating, but it's just more to what Killjoy had said before. It's just, you know, it's just one hand don't know what the heck the other's doing. And of course, we've got the casuals, those filthy casuals. Just remember, there's a difference between challenging and frustrating. Although, I mean, again, you know, all jokes aside, that is a good point. You know, you want people to be able to enjoy this content, but my God, there's got to be at least some, you know, challenge to the game, even if it's you put it in as an optional. You know, it's just should be enjoyed by all, and it should at least be intriguing enough by those who want to be challenged. In my opinion, when the time comes, yeah, this was it here. As long as the mechanics are something that can be learned and adapted to, and not something freaky that's limited by lag or the performance of the engine, like platforming. Oh yeah, jumping puzzles. Yes, Peter, platforming isn't always a bad thing, but it is in this game. Yes, whoever thought platforming in this game needs to be tossed into a room full of room full of rancors, man. Come on, get it right. Either that or tribbles. I mean, seriously. Engine is, yes, absolutely. Yeah, and here. What surprises me the most about this fiasco is that the dev team chooses to maintain a public test server, yet only after 2 delays to the launch and perhaps overhyped features consider prudent to put a pre-launch version of the internal and let those to test the thing properly. Presumably it costs money. Yeah, I'm sure it does. Presumably it is. Some people really understand how it works. Very good at it. Yes, indeed. Unexpected setbacks are a part of life. Indeed it is. But to me, at least, to take the opportunity to obtain free help by having customers test a product and generally listen to the experience again. As I've been saying over and over again the last few episodes. You know, good faith effort. Spoilers be damned. Let's get this content. Let's get these patches. Let's get all this stuff tested and vetted properly. And he goes on to say, you know, this nonsense about the operations and this garbage with how they're working the gear right now. Never do what they promise. Yeah, whatever. No, they don't, but they just, you know, the appearances and stuff like that, that, you know, one hand don't know what the heck the other's doing sometimes. Yeah, quite. Yeah, that's becoming quite apparent with every patch and every issue that is brought up. But regardless, that's it for this week. Just some things that really caught my fancy that I had to vent and rage about and blow some steam off about. But there we are, Chapter 11 coming soon. Coming to a PC near you, only without Bodar. Apparently there will be some other companion or something like that, and without the Eternal Championship, which shall now be tested properly. Thank God for that. Yes. Well, we'll see how things work out. We'll see how, and hopefully this thing with the Eternal Championship is only a precursor to come. Obviously, you know, we're not going to be able to test Chapter 11, properly test it and vet it. So I imagine there's probably going to be more than 1 or 2 issues with that content as it is released in the next week or so. But hey, you know, at least with this here, it shows that BioWare is capable, at least is capable, of learning from errors past. The difference is, you know, show that you're capable and show that you're willing to follow through and continue to do this. Work on the communication. You know, this should have been communicated a lot sooner, that there were problems with Eternal Championship and it might be delayed. I mean, at least show that you have some competence. I hate using that, but it's because people use incompetence far too widely and far too freely, in my opinion. But at least show that you guys have some sort of good formal organization and testing procedures internally. That way you can stay on top of this and say, yay, you know what, this isn't working out as well as we hope. We might have to delay it. Give the player-based communication advance notice of this stuff. Not, you know, basically 3 days before something's supposed to go live. But anyway, hopefully this is a good sign of things to come. That they're finally learning that proper testing and vetting is going to be absolutely necessary if they want to maintain this type of design paradigm with the story and stuff like that. Anyway, this is Darth Oblivious saying, I've taken up enough of your valuable time. Thank you for watching. And until next time, I will see you in-game and in the forums.